So as you might realise, I am not tall, topless, good-looking Tom Dickinson. Tom's going to be here at 2 o'clock, so slight change of plan. And a little lesson in this as well. So often when things like this happen, right? If this would have been me, probably still only 2 years ago. Shush! Excuse me, Amber. So I would have had a bit of a meltdown. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, Tom's not here. Fucking hell, this has gone wrong, that's gone wrong. The whole day's going to go, oh, it's all a disaster. And it's like, things happen. Like, I tell this story all the time. We create our own stress, right? So the stress in life is created by our reaction to situations. And this is another big lesson that kind of Kieran taught me. It's like, okay, Tom's going to be on at 2, not 1. And that's okay, because we've got 4 hours of content left. So it doesn't matter, it's just a slight change of plan. And the story I always tell this is, you know, if you think of like, you sat inside your house, okay, and somebody, I think this actually happened to you guys, didn't it? Someone just crashes into your car outside. Like, that's an unavoidable situation. Circumstance completely out of your control, you can't change it. So what we can control is our reaction, which is our responsibility, which is why the word response is in responsibility, because it's our response to the situation. So a level-headed person whose energy is on point can go outside and first of all say, well, is everybody okay? And then we can assess the situation and say, well, this has happened. There's nothing I can do about it. We can't change situations or circumstance. And this is when it comes down to the warrior versus the victim mindset, because a victim will go straight into panic mode, focusing on all the things they can't change, all the things they can't control, falling into what's then called a state of learned hopelessness, where we're essentially sat in the passenger seat, where all this stuff's just happened to us. It's all a disaster. It's one thing after another. And the reality is, that's just life. Now, the same situation, we can go, well, okay, this has happened. That's okay. Someone's crashed into the car. There's nothing we can do about it. It'll be okay. And this is what the difference is between if we are weak, if we're helpless, if we play the victim, then this is when we are focused on things we can't change, things we can't control. We've all had shit happen to us in our lives, right? We all have things that go wrong. And when we truly learn to only focus on what we can control, what we can change, and what we are in charge of, which is the way we choose to respond to situations, our attitude, then that's when we will begin to play the role of the strong, empowered warrior, because we're only focusing on what we can control and what we can change. So, talking of strong, empowered warriors, we're now going to do the presentations for the marathons first. So these 19 people didn't believe they could run a marathon less than 90 days before the end of last year. And all of them did complete a marathon. So some of them aren't here today, but we're still going to acknowledge them anyway. So first on the left is Fran Wright, who's deaf in one ear and has her steel hip. She's also 55 years old, completing a marathon. Let's give a round of applause for Fran, even though she's not here. Next up, we have Mr. Birch, who on this day actually completed his first ultra marathon. If each of you come up to get your t-shirts. So he didn't just complete a marathon, he completed an ultra.
Thank you, Lee.
All right. Look bald.
That's not hard. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Miss Starkey. Starkers. There we go, organised here, look. They're all in name order. Alphabetical. Oh, she's here somewhere. Wendy? No, not Wendy. Sarah, whee! Where's Ed? Oh, he's there. Give her a round of applause. In fact, I've got a new plan. I could just pick the t-shirt up, pick the name, and give it to that person. Up there for thinking, down there for dancing. Jane Hudson! Jane was actually not going to do the marathon 2 weeks before and showed up on the day and smashed it, was the 6th person to finish. Next up, we have Richie B, who also completed an ultra. You can't really be a treble XL.
Not an e-bike. Cheers, mate.
Richie actually also ran when I did the 60 miler for Chromes. Richie did the first 30 miles with me, so he did complete an ultra marathon as well. Next up, we have quite a special one, and you'll see it says Warrior. Now, this man didn't complete a marathon, but to turn up and do what he did after the operation that he'd been through on that day and complete one lap, for me, was more impressive than having completed a marathon. Mr. Stephen Brooks. Fucking warrior. Let's go. Next up, we have the absolute fucking nutcracker in the right-hand corner, Jessica Corton, who not only completed the marathon, but then went and ran 5K at Alton Towers the day after. Jessica. Right. All right. She's not here. Mark Wibberley! Lady in pink, Miss Ali Arena, who actually finished first.
Thank you.
So the next two are the three ladies that finished, three ladies, sorry, that finished with Jan, Julie, and Jessica, the three J's. And they also deserve a special award for stupidity. So having me moved all the cars out of the car park because Rother Valley closed early, and running up and down from the golf club to Rother Valley and back 3 or 4 times, getting everybody in and out, I finally find these three. So where are you? We're around the other side of the water park. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. 8 o'clock at night, so I finally get round to meet them. Have any of you checked your watches? No, we've just kind of been counting laps and chatting and walking. Jess, check your watch. 29 miles. So they've done a marathon plus 3, and we still had to get out of Rother Valley and get back to the cars. In darkness, but as we said, we never leave a team member behind at Unbreakable, so we stayed till the end, despite Rother Valley closing the gates. So, Julie Hollingsworth. Well done. Jan Turner.
I didn't have a watch.
Who needs to read when you can run a marathon? I didn't know who that was for a minute. Next up, Michael O'Regan. Who decided to get his kid's name put on his t-shirt instead? How cool is that? Who he did it for?
Thank you. Thank you.
Paul Warrior Phillips. There we go. Cheers.
Thank you.
Next up, it wasn't actually his first marathon, as he's reminded me multiple times during Facebook posts, but I think this is everyone's favourite man, Gordon Moore, G-Man. Thank you. Good. And finally, one of the most impressive efforts as well. I don't think I've ever seen a person carry on when I know how much pain they were in. And at points I was inches away from medically withdrawing them, but they carried on. Natalie Forster.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Smile,
sorry.
it's all right. You go that side. I think Wendy wants you to say chairs as well. Right, so now we have what was 3, but now becomes 4 awards. I need to be a little bit careful with the slides here, or I'm going to mess everything up. So, our first Unbreakable Client of the Year is, drum roll on the tables, Mr. Luke Birch. So there's 2 clients of the year, and there's also the ultimate, Luke, stay here, and there's also the ultimate Unbreakable Warrior of the year. So just a little bit to put Luke's journey into perspective, and those who are maybe at the beginning of their journey and wondering what they can achieve. So Luke has lost 7 stone and built a ton of lean muscle. He's quit his dead-end job, which he hated. He's started a business and trebled his income. He's run a half marathon, a marathon, and at the time of me writing these slides, it was soon to be an ultra marathon. It is now an ultra marathon that's been completed. He's bought back hours of time to enjoy with his family. He's become one of the best role models to their kids that I know. He's become a strong leaner in this Unbreakable community and is now coming on board as a coach to help support you guys further. He's supercharged his energy and confidence, building a bulletproof mindset and becoming an unbreakable coach.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you.
Nice to be proud of you. Well done. So the next client of the year is also client of the year, but also the client of the year. And this, even though I didn't ask each client, I know without a shadow of a doubt, this would have been a unanimous decision because he's been the most influential person in the group since we started. The second client of the year is Mr. Gordon Moore.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Shaking like a shitting dog. So Gordon has gained clarity, structure and focus and improved his energy through nutrition and training. He's increased his business productivity and nailed some monumental deals. Ran a marathon, climbed a big fanny, penny fanny, quit booze, and come through 2 there was actually a big fanny, wasn't there, that we climbed in Wales? Yeah, it was actually called that, it's not a joke. He's had more time to enjoy with his family and took his son to South Africa to meet his online friend, which to me, that's the best thing in here. Like as a father, Gordon is massively a role model to me, and someone who's willing to do that much just for their son's happiness absolutely melted me. He's the undisputed leader of the WhatsApp group and the one finger bicep tents. He's attended every single event, and something that I noticed today, again, is he's always the first man in to greet new people, meet new people, make them feel comfortable and speak to them. He supercharged his energy, his drive and his motivation and inspired so many, he feels he can face anything thrown at him. Give him a round of applause. Right, the next one I'm going to get absolutely battered for, so I need Levi to come up for some security. Yep. No. So there's a certain person within this company who I'm going to describe as the unsung hero, who some of you know, some of you don't, but she is responsible for so much of what happens within the company, the structuring of plans, the planning, making sure I stay on point for 1 point, and so much so with her own journey as well. So after the initial call when Nat and I first met was from a hospital bed, she was 4 stone overweight, she was obsessed by scale weight, she had a history of eating disorders, binge eating, stressed, anxious, low energy, dead-end job, working for Sports Direct. We won't get into that one. Living at home with her parents, stuck in a rut, no idea of what she wanted, unfit, surrounded by negative friends. She's now a competitive CrossFitter. She's lost 4 stone. She's toned, fit, lean, challenged and beaten the eating disorders, has incredible knowledge around fitness and nutrition, inspired thousands of people that can do the same, began a career in coaches and founded her own business 5 years after becoming a mum for the first time, is in the best physical shape of her life. So I just want you all to stand up and give Nat a round of applause. She hasn't got a trophy or flowers or anything because she just wants cash for new gym gear. I don't need security for this one. Go away with that one. So before we'll have another short break before Tom arrives, this one is massive. It's something that I didn't ever think anything like this would happen within this company, or us as a team would be able to have such an impact on a person, or that a person through their own adversity and overcoming that would be able to have such an impact on others. And a phrase that I've gone back to time and time again is that the world will give its strongest missions, its toughest missions, its hardest missions to its strongest warriors, because it knows that those warriors can handle it and come through. So sometimes take this away, and when life's throwing challenge at you, when you feel like, we all have those days and we're like, fuck me, can I just have one day when something doesn't go wrong? Can I just have, a week when something bad doesn't happen? But the reality is that's life, and it's not why me, it's try me, it's not what's happened to me, it's we understand that life is happening for me. And as we said, it's a contribution-based experience. So without further ado, I'm going to try not to get emotional reading these out, but the first ever Unbreakable Warrior is Jan Turner.
Love you so much, love.
Look at that bad boy. You even spat me out. I was going to put Janet on it. So we were back in April last year, and this year even. Fucking hell. Last year, yeah. What month is it? So we got a phone call from Jan. She's like, I've got cancer. And it's just one of those things that you just never ever expect to happen. But from day one, once the initial shock had gone, she was, Lee, how do we handle this? How do we get on top of it? What can I do? What am I in control of? What can I change? Everything that we preach and that we've taught about on these missions, and just handled it like an absolute fucking warrior. You guys were around her as a team as well, but the reality of overcoming that, a 9-hour operation followed by 3 days in ICU, And in November, she's just completed a marathon. It's a different fucking league. Quit drinking at home, lost 2 stone, completed the marathon, built self-confidence, banished suicidal thoughts, increased her prices, which I bullied her into doing, and gained 9 new clients. She's raised £1,400 for veterans with PTSD, completed a 180-foot abseil and attended every single Unbreakable event, including a 700-mile round trip to get to Lake Buttermere to jump in a lake with Levi. I mean, I'd have got a fucking helicopter. She's become a certified specialist reactive dog trainer, so she can help rehabilitate rescue dogs to become therapy dogs. She's completed 2,024 squats to raise money for Help for Heroes, and she feels stronger mentally and emotionally than she ever has in her entire life and has a purpose for living. Please all be upstanding for the first ever Unbreakable Warrior, Jan Turner. Right, guys, we're now going to break for another quick 15 minutes so you can get another drink, have a wee, have a stretch, have some fresh air, whatever you want, and then we will be back with Tom Dickinson.